What do you do when you get stuck in your marriage?
There's unresolved problems.
Or your spouse or your wife is not willing to work with you? So what do you do if you are in such a relationship?
Hello guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. My name is Chandy.
I am Martin.
And today we would like to talk about what do you do when you feel stuck in an unhappy marriage.
In godly relationship, we believe that marriage is not just only about finding the right person, but it's about becoming the right person. And that's one of the principles we're going to share today. What do you do when you get stuck in your marriage?
All right, so we're just going to explore what does it even look like to feel stuck.
It just simply means that the marriage is on hold.
There's unresolved problems.
Yes, there's no harmony, lack of peace.
Your vision can be blinded.
Absolutely. All of these things can happen, including if there are kids in such marriage. The kids will begin to struggle and feel the sense of lack of peace in the family.
You could be dwelling in the past.
Absolutely.
Always reminiscing of how you met your spouse and you're just trying to get those things back. But it seems like in the present time that is not happening.
Absolutely. So what do you do if you are in such a relationship and your husband or your spouse or your wife is not willing to work with you? Maybe you've suggested, let's go to our pastor, let's talk to a counselor, or let's reach out to or go for a therapy or something like that, and they are not just willing to work with you. So what do you do?
Well, it is time for you to move forward.
Absolutely.
You need to plug into God and also acknowledge that it will be a journey. It will be a time for you to realign yourself, to redefine who God has made you to be, to know that you are called for more.
Absolutely. So what we're saying is time to grow again. It's also important to understand ways you may have contributed to the problems that is in the marriage or problems that you're dealing with in the marriage. Don't just push blame. It's not time for blame. It's time for you to look inward. And you're not looking inward just for your husband or your wife to say, hey, I understand now. You understand what you've done wrong. No, it's not a time for reconciliation yet. This is just a time for you to understand the areas you have made mistakes and you begin to retrace your steps trying to fix them back.
So basically he's saying that you should take responsibility of your actions, ownership of how you may have contributed to the problem that is being caused in this marriage.
Absolutely. So I know, honey, you already mentioned about plugging yourself back into God and just allowing God to redefine you. Most times we allow our problems to define us. We allow the circumstances we go through to define us, thereby changing our perspective, making us to see things differently. You may not know that you have had some big problem just because of what has happened to you over the time. So what we're saying is time to get back to your roots and start growing again. What is it that it has robbed you of? Has it robbed you of your peace? Has it robbed you of your personal devotion and studies that you are no longer interested to go to to things that will help you continue to grow, like conferences and just programs that will help encourage you?
So the next thing you can do in moving forward is to reach out for help. Reach out to a counselor, reach out to a pastor who would help you to guide you through the journey.
Right. So this is not time you are trying to drag your husband to the counselor. No. This is not time for you to drag him to the pastor. No. It's not going to work because they are not yet ready to really walk with you at this time. Remember, the reason why you're trying to take some of these steps is just because they are not willing to walk with you. There's something I want to share with you that I just learned a few days ago. I happened to one of the trees in my compound here. I had a discussion with one of my neighbors, and we had a tree guys come out to look at the trees. And we saw that the trees, we started noticing like some of the trees started having like brownish kind of color. And it's not like the entire tree was dead, but somehow we've seen some spots of brown coming. And when they came out, they told us that it just simply means that the tree is sick. The tree lacks nutrient, and what normally causes this type of fungi problems is just because of lack of nutrients. And they said that they're going to treat the tree with a certain kind of hormone. I didn't even know that they have a specific or kinds of hormones for trees. And they said it's Cambostel Cambostat hormone. I'm not familiar with that. Cambostat hormone that will stop the tree from growing upwards. That from now, once the tree is treated with that hormone, that the tree will start growing on the inside. The tree will stop blossoming and stop growing upward. The tree will start growing downwards.
Wow.
And what that simply means, that was such a big thing for me when I heard that. Yes, it's about our tree, but I could also relate that to our relationship. In a situation where your relationship or our relationship is struggling, you may not know there are certain areas in our lives, in our relationship, that are already starting going dead.
Wow.
Just because of lack of nutrients. You may not know that just not taking care of your husband, not taking care of your wife as a result of conflict and unresolved challenges has created a lot of sick areas that are just waiting to fall dead one day. And what we're saying today is look on the inward and just start growing from the inside. Don't worry about what people are going to say. Don't worry about what your husband or your wife is going to say. Or what are you doing? What do you think? You think this is going to work? No. This is a time you want to focus on the inside and getting help to be able to get back on your feet again.
Yes, and afterwards, this is a time to move towards reconciliation. Because you cannot reconcile with something if you have not gotten hold or healed for yourself.
Absolutely.
So what we're trying to say, or what we're saying, is that you need to be healed first. You need to understand who you are. You need to allow God to redefine you again. And then you need to ask for help. And afterwards, you need to move towards reconciliation.
So before we leave or draw the curtain close for today's video, I want to say this. It is so difficult for you to fight an elephant. Elephant is so huge. When you try to hold an elephant, it's so huge that you cannot hold your hand or wrap your hand around it just because the elephant is huge. Now, this is what happens when we start fighting, or when you get stuck, you start getting thin. When you try to walk with your husband or with your wife or with your spouse and they are not willing to just start growing, what it means is that you stop looking at the things they are doing. You stop, it's going to be hard, but you stop responding and reacting to the things they are doing. But you start growing big and big. By the time they come back to just be there for like try to challenge you, they will realize that you have grown so big that they can no longer fight you. Think about it, fighting an elephant is so difficult. And that's exactly what is going to happen. When they find out that they can no longer fight you, they have no choice than to submit. One thing that they cannot deny is that there is a God who is huge on the inside of you, and they cannot fight against God.
So this is where it says God will fight for you, and you
will hold your peace. Exactly.
Exodus 14:14. Yes.
Absolutely. So when you are able to take these principles, I know it's going to hurt. If you can take these principles, I believe that God, who sees the heart, will work things around. Don't make divorce your first option.
Yes.
Consider to bring in God in those situations, and He will turn them and make them right.
Well, we thank you for staying to the end of this video. We hope you picked something from this episode. Thank you for subscribing. Ensure that you turn on the bell button and share this video to your friends as well.
Yes, so we are glad you are here and we are praying for you. We are trusting God that your marriage, your relationship will come back alive. Your vision, more importantly, will come back alive.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.